Welcome back to my channel. It is me, Ian here. I'm actually in Glasgow in Scotland, but I live in Beijing. I've come back to Glasgow for a holiday, and one of the things I wanted to do and explore here in Glasgow is the parks that we have in Glasgow, in particular parks that I remember from my childhood. I wanted to explore them and compare them to the parks that I experience in Beijing. And I'll show you the parks in Beijing first of all, because the parks in Beijing and in China are always fantastic. But I was really curious to explore parks in Scotland, in particular, as I said, parks from my childhood. So I then will show you them, and then at the end, come back and I will talk a little bit about my reflection and what I'm seeing. Actually here, where I grew up as a kid, I can tell you these trees were nowhere near this size. But opposite where I grew up is a park. As you can see, it is not actually up too much. When I lived here, there was a lot going on. There was tennis courts, small putting green, lots of flowers, and really well looked after. But now, not so good. This is another park where I grew up near. It's called Knightswood Park, and again, it's all been changed. There used to be a pitch and putt golf course here, but nothing. I'm going to go and have a look at the other side of it to see if the boating pond and that's still there, but you can definitely see the parks are just not a thing used in the same way as they are in China. In fact, this used to be where you would get the golf clubs from, and you would tee off here and head down that way onto the pitch and putt, which is a shortened golf course. Not there any longer. This is Knightswood Boating Pond, and you can see or used to be Knightswood Boating Pond. There's no boats there, and you can see in the far distance over there the area where you used to be able to rent the boats, but they're no longer there. I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong, it's a nice pleasant area, but there's no real activity, and the kids play park is not even being used either. So yeah, all changed. So this is a real surprise. This is a BMX park, one of the highest, most complicated, I believe, in Scotland, and there's going to be competitions here during the summer. So there's a lot of investment. I think it's still being built, but I was talking to somebody local, and they were saying there's lots of clubs from around Glasgow that come here and they're practicing because of the competition that's happening during the summer. So this is a good thing. Well done, the Scottish Government. As you can see, there's also a basketball court there, and I believe in the evening this is full of people, some clubs and stuff playing basketball, but I'm not sure. But that's what a local person told me, because I was talking to a lovely woman there who was saying the country's gone to dogs, but this was a good thing. Her words. She did have 2 dogs with her, but there you go. So there is good stuff there happening, and I hope it continues to happen. happen. However, you know, again, parks in China are a whole different thing. So I'm in a park called Victoria Park, which is not that far away from where I used to live, and I was hoping to see this, which is a fossil grove. It's where trees have been fossilised. I remember coming here with my father when I was a kid, but unfortunately it's closed. It's locked up to the public, and I think that's one of the things here. The parks are actually not that bad, but they're just not being used, or things are being locked up, or you know, and again, I think that's investment or lack of investment, so to speak. So parks are nice, just a bit disappointing to see the lack of use of the park and the lack of community aspect that you definitely see and feel in China. So again, this is a nice park, just not being utilised or used, and there is a lack of investment, but it's okay. You know, it's just a different community, I think, and maybe because there's less people. You know, Beijing, a lot of people. Here, Glasgow, 440,000 people, a lot less on this side of the city. Plus Glasgow has a lot of parks. Glasgow's known as Deer Green City, or our Deer Green City. So it's a very green place, as you can see. So yeah, just different, I think. Pleasantly surprised. Got one more park to go and have a look at. Maybe do that tomorrow. This is what's called a single nugget, which is a kind of nougat bottom with chocolate and then raspberry ice cream and a wee wafer on the top. It's beautiful. This park is called Kelvin Grove Park, and although I visited this park as a kid, I didn't spend a lot of time here because it's a little bit further away from where I live. It's a little bit more in a posher part of Glasgow, as they would say. But as you can see, there's a lot going on here. I think there's some kids coming, school visit, and there is bike ramps and stuff. The other thing is, it's all part of a bigger complex, which is involving the art gallery, which is at a traffic going by here. This is, at least there's maintenance going on. It's all part of a bigger complex with the art gallery, the museum, the Kelvin Grove Museum. So this is a fantastic park to come visit. But yet again, it's very, very quiet. As you can see, quiet. This is the Glasgow Botanic Gardens. Beautiful place, and it's probably like the best kept place in Glasgow for parks and stuff because it's well funded, but it's stunning to see. You should come see it. I recommend it. As I was saying when I was inside the greenhouse there, this is the Botanic Gardens. It's probably the best park in Glasgow. It's super well funded, recommend it. But when you're inside that greenhouse, it is so hot. So I had to get in, get a couple of shots and get back out because it's about 30 degrees today in Glasgow. So there you go. beautiful park. And that's the last park that I'm going to share with you before I wrap up. So join me for the quick wrap up about comparing parks in China and parks here in Glasgow, Scotland. So that was the comparison between the parks that I experienced in Beijing and the Glasgow parks here in Scotland. Actually, I was pleasantly surprised. The parks in Glasgow are okay. The local community park, but disappointed in. That was Drumchapel. But the more I explored and more I went up, the quality of the park was getting better. So it's good to see that the parks here in Glasgow are being invested in. They're being used. Nowhere near, I've got to say, nowhere near Beijing, but it is a different level of community and volume of people and so on. But at least they are there in Glasgow and they're being used. So that was fantastic to see, and I hope that we continue to explore the parks here in Glasgow. I'm heading back to Beijing. I will continue to explore the parks in Beijing and throughout China. Please look after yourself, look after your family, and look after your community. And as always, peace out. Catch you in the next video.